Hi, good afternoon, everyone. In today's class, we are going to go ahead and begin with a new topic, which is going to be a difference equation. In particularly, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do section 20.1 of the book Sydsaeter and Hammond in this lecture. Let us try to understand what is difference equation. Try to see that there are variables which should be studied over time. Like, for example, the GDP of the economy. It is studied from one time period to income. For example, the wealth of an individual. It is studied from one time period to another. For example, the income of an individual. Income is assumed to be constant, right? It's a flow concept, but wealth is a stock concept. So wealth is studied from one point to another. How much is my increase in the wealth? So those variables which are supposed to be studied from one time period to another, how they change over time, those variables are known as, those variables are studied using the difference equation. So for example, here I've quoted this example, what happens to GDP of the economy from 1990 to 2000. So when I talk about GDP of the economy, that, I'm studying it over time, that can be represented through the difference equation. Now, one question you may ask me that, ma'am, multiple times we study a difference equation and we study differential equation. What is the difference between the two? How do I know whether it is a difference equation or a differential equation? In दोनों में क्या difference है? So, beta, both of them relate a value of variable at different time periods. एक time period को दूसरे time period से connect करते हैं दोनों ही equations. Both difference and differential equation connect value of a variable over time. But what is the difference then? The difference lies whether the variable is discrete or continuous. If my variable is discrete, then I am talking about difference equation. And if my variable is assumed to be continuous, then I am talking about differential equation. So difference equation is connecting one variable with its values in the previous periods, values in previous period, but that variable should be discrete. And differential equation is connecting that same variable with its values in the previous period, but the variable should be continuous. In either case, whether I am talking about variable being discrete or variable being continuous, beta kya aim hai? Aim is to connect your variable with its previous values. मुझे उसको उसके previous values से connect करना है. So try to read the definition. An equation that relates value of variable at different time periods. I am linking the value of variable at एक ही variable है, but उसको अलग अलग time period से हम connect कर रहे हैं. We are linking it to different time periods. Then that is called difference equation. ठीक है जी? Okay, बेटा. Now, the first concept we want to learn today, that is called as first order difference equation. क्या बोलते हैं इसको? First order difference equation. So, as the name suggests, beta, what should be first order difference equation? First order. मतलब I am going back only in one less time period. I am going back only in one less. एक one order का है. So I'm going back only in one order time period. So try to understand this thing. Suppose I tell you that GDP of this year depends on GDP of the previous year. Let me take some values. Suppose T is equal to 2023. So I am saying GDP of 2023 depends on GDP of 2022. तो बेटा ये हो गया फर्स्ट ऑर्डर डिफरेंस इक्वेशन. And when I tell you GDP of 2023 depends on GDP of 2022 and the GDP of 2021. So you get better second order difference equation. So first order difference equation ho ya second order difference equation ho, I am linking it to its previous values. But till what lagged value am I taking it? Am I going only till one lagged value? Or am I going till two lagged values? That is what is going to determine this name, whether it is going to be first order or whether it is going to be second order, third order, and so on. ठीक है बेटा? अच्छा. Now here it is saying t is 1, 2 till n. ये क्या है? अगर t को मैं सिर्फ एक ही पीरियड तक ले सकती हूँ ना बेटा. T 1 to n means here if t is 1, then this will be 0. If this is 2, this will be 1. But it is going back only to one previous value, na? So it is first order difference equation. T can take any value. मतलब यहाँ पर जरूरी थोड़ी है कि I need to link GDP of 2023 to 22. I can very well go ahead and I can very well link GDP of 2021 to GDP of 2020. तो भी ये first order ही हुआ. Because I am just going back in one time period. But this T can be any year, right? It can be 1993. It can be 1998. It can be 1950. I just have to link it to one previous value. That's it. Okay, beta. So try to read this out. We want to understand relationship between value of variable in time period T and time period T minus 1. We are only linking it back to one time period. So यहाँ पे मैंने example दिया X in 1990 and X in 1991. I am only going back in one time period. The difference between the two periods should only be 1. Only then it can be called as the first order difference equation. जो मेरा gap है, when I write 1999, it should be a function of 1990. When I write 2023, it should be a function of 2022. And so on. So, जो मेरा gap है, it should only be a gap of 1. So, you see here, this is t plus 1, then this is only till t. ये clear हो गई ये बात सबको? Okay, beta. Now, suppose I take t is equal to 1. So, how did I represent the general case? xt. So, xt is a function of t and xt minus 1. So when I will put t as 1 here, here and here, what will I get better? x1 is function of 1, x1 minus 1. x1 is function of 1, x0. This is what I have got here. Is this clear? So I am saying x1 is a function of time period 1 and its previous value. x2 is a function of time period 2 and its previous value, matlab x1. Now try to see. This is very interesting. But I have already written x1 as a function of x0. x2 is a function of x1. So just try to see this. If x2 is a function here, if x2 is a function of x1, but x1 is a function of x0, instead of this x1, I can write this part. So what will I get? I will get f of 2, instead of x1, I am writing this function f of 1, x0. Right, beta? Similarly, try to see that I can keep mimicking this. I can say x3 is a function of 3 comma x2, but x2 has been rewritten like this. So I can just say 3 comma f of 2 comma f of 1 comma x naught. What is the conclusion from here? What am I coming to from here? But from this entire analysis, I am coming to the fact that ultimately each variable can be written as a function of the first variable. देखो x3 को मैंने x0 के टर्म्स में लिख दिया, x2 को भी मैंने x0 के टर्म्स में लिख दिया, x1 को भी मैंने x0 के टर्म्स में लिख दिया. So ultimately each variable, whether it is x1, x2, x3 or so on and so forth, can be written as a function of x0. हर जगह पे मैंने rewrite करके x0 का ही टर्म कर दिया. So even if I have this as xn, then as a function of x0. But when we do this, when I write xn as a function of x0, this is called as the solution of difference equation. It is called as solution of difference equation. But why is it called solution? Because it is assumed that you will know the initial value. So it is assumed that the initial value will be known. You would know what your x0 is. And if I know this initial value, because ultimately xn has been written as a function of x0, I can know what xn is. Think about it. I know what my GDP. ऐसा कुछ देखो. My GDP in 1998 is 400, suppose. But I tell you that GDP in any period t is 40 plus 0.1, 40 nahi, 400 plus 0.1 GDP of the previous period. So I can say that GDP of 1999 will be 4000 plus 0.1 into 400. 400 plus 40, 440. So through this generalized equation, I have been able to find the GDP of the next year. But I can find GDP of 2000 also. It will be 400 plus 0.1 GDP of 1999. 400 plus 0.1, 44. 440, 440. What have I done? 440 होगा ना? 440. Sorry, this is 400, huh? My bad. 400 plus 44, 444. ऐसे करके I can solve it. But ये तो मैं एक पीरियड को दूसरे से लिंक कर रही हूँ. Now think about it. बहुत ध्यान से सुनो मेरी बात. Listen to me. What if I ask you, beta, what will be GDP of 2023? Are you going to do this process 23 times? That, ma'am, I will link 1991 to 1998, 2000 to 1999, then 2001 to 2000, then 2002 to 2001, and so on and so forth. And then, ma'am, I will give you this. It's so long. You can't do this 23 times or 25 times. No. So what should you be doing? We need a formula. We need a solution which links GDP of period T directly, alpha plus beta, to GDP of period 0. I need this formula. I need that, okay, even if you're asking me GDP of 2023, I should not be going in this iterative manner. मुझे ये 23 times ना करना पड़े कि पहले मैं 1998 से 1999 का निकालूं, फिर 1999 से 2000 का निकालूं, फिर 2000 से 2001 का, फिर 2001 से 2002 का, फिर 2002 से 3, 3 से 4 and so on. I want to do that this many times. That is not my aim. So then how will I solve this? What is one way of doing it? I need to find the solution to this equation, to this difference equation. And when I mean solution, it means each period should be linked to the base period. So that you tell me the base period and I should be able to tell it even for 2023 without repeating this process 25, 26 times. 1998 से 23 का हर साल ना करना पड़े. I should not be repeating that process. Is that making some sense to you? Okay, now let's just go back to this once. So try to see this thing, huh, beta? So what have I written? I am talking about the existence and uniqueness theorem. So try to see this thing. What am I saying? I have this equation. This equation links period t to its previous period t minus 1. Suppose you have this difference equation, and if x naught is an arbitrary number, which is the initial number, then there exists a uniquely determined function xt which acts as a solution. Ek hi baat hai, this is what I said here. I told you in terms of GDP of the economy. This is what I said, that if I have this base given to me, this is x naught, initial period ka diya hua hai, then I should be able to find for period t also based on this base number. That is what I want. I want this answer. This is going to be my solution. I should have that one unique equation that I should be able to get. That is a unique equation that I will get. Are you getting it? This has to be a unique equation that I will get. So I need to get one unique equation. And this unique equation should be able to link xt to x naught, not t minus 1. That is a very long process to do. I don't want to do that. I want to link xt to x naught. So as this x naught will change, then x1, x2 till xn will automatically change, which means that in this example beta, suppose I tell you that no, your 1998 GDP is actually 500. So do you see all these values will change till then? So when your x naught will change, when your base number will change, then all values attached to that base number, linked to that base number will also change. But I just explained you how difficult process it is. I can't do it in an iterative way. ऐसा नहीं कर सकते कि आप मेरे को 1998 का नंबर दो और मैं 23 तक निकालने के लिए इसको रिपीट ही करती जाऊं. That's a very difficult thing to do. I can't do that. So if I cannot go ahead and do that, then what should I do? I need to find one way of linking xt directly to x naught. And that is what I want to do here. This is what is important in this chapter. Find a way in which xt can be linked to x naught. हाँ भाई, ये तो मेरे को पता ही है. I know this thing, that xt is linked to xt minus 1. But we saw that this is a very long process. If I tell you your wealth in period 2000 was so much, and I ask you find the wealth in 2023, तो ऐसा नहीं कर सकते ना कि 2000 को 1999 से लिंक किया, 2001 को 2000 से लिंक किया, 2002 को 2001 से लिंक किया, and so on. You can't repeat this process so many times. That is a difficult thing to do. So you need to find a way how I can just find an equation based on the base. How each time period t can simply be linked to x naught. And that is what I want to do here. Linear difference.